Good morning, everybody. Aren't you all glad it's Monday? Welcome to Morning Coffee with Mitch. Is it morning yet? I think it is. I think it is. Good to see you. Good to see you. And let's get right to it. I know I'm ready to get right to it. I was staring at this coffee up here for the last 15 minutes while I was sitting here waiting for 7 o'clock. And now, let me get that go bell again. Go! Drink it if you got it. While we wait for people to show up. Okay, people are showing up. We have crossed the 50 mark. We can start now. Although I could sit here and listen to the music for a while. I'm in a very strange mood this morning, guys, in case you haven't been able to tell already. It's been a crazy weekend for me up here. I don't even know where to start. So many different things pulling at me. So many different ways to go. So many different ideas about, do I want to actually continue to keep down exactly the same path as I have been? I keep reading so many comments and watching so many YouTube videos and hear so much stuff that's conflicting. And the biggest problem I have with all of this advice, and God, if I have this problem with it, I have to think that everybody else does too. What do I do with this as it applies to me? I'm not like most of those people. They're not like each other, whether they believe it or not. Generic advice, unless it's of the broadest strokes, very rarely works. What do I do? What do I do? And then the bigger issue comes in. People are looking to me to find out what they should do. And I go, whoa, that's an incredible responsibility, especially if you happen to be a responsible person, and I think I am. And that's generally okay when the advice kind of goes along on an even keel, you know. When you know pretty much in the ballpark what a carnivore is. And then you start hearing all these people that have their own definitions of what carnivore is. And I can understand that, because who the hell ever really even defined what carnivore is? And I see more and more of these questions coming up saying, I want to eat this. Is this carnivore? I want to eat that. Is that carnivore? So the most important word, I think, in all of us, me included, that are just trying to optimize our own individual health, and if we have problems, what do I have to change to fix it? I could keep going on Ken Berry and asking him all kinds of questions. Well, my number is this, and this number means this, and this number means that, and the other thing. And he's not my doctor. He doesn't know who I am from Adam. My numbers don't mean shit to him out of context of just the numbers. If doctors went by just my numbers, they'd have me having kidney transplants now. Because my higher creatinine levels to them indicate kidney failure. To anybody that really understands the medicine, understands that when you stop eating carbs and start living on mostly meat and fat, you produce more creatinine as a waste product, especially if you're taking a creatine supplement. But without the context of that reality, the doctors will just say, out with your kidneys. But my kidneys are perfect. We're confused. I'm confused. So if I seem a little off this morning, I'm just, what do I do to actually provide something meaningful, actionable is the key word, actionable, and more importantly, correct, good advice? Or would I be better off to be viewed as just some comedian and a funny guy and an entertainer and just go about making fun of everybody else and not give anybody any advice? I'd be a hell of a lot more entertaining. I'd have a hell of a lot less pressure on me to do the right thing. A hell of a lot less aggravating comments. I don't know. I thought about it all weekend. Primarily, what I thought about all weekend, which is very interesting, was the blueberries that were in my freezer. Don't you want to know if they're still in my freezer? Rick thinks I should just have fun and be entertaining. Maybe I need to get myself a duck. I don't know. I get the impression sometimes that all the experts don't know what the hell they're doing either and have the same questions. And I try to go back to nature and reality and how the hell did we ever survive and manage to live before we ever knew what blood sugar was, or knew what a blood test was, or knew what anything was, other than we slept on a rock, we hunted big animals with sticks. Most of time, 99.9% of the time since the formation of the earth that has existed, that knowledge didn't exist throughout the entire evolution of life, up to the point where we got too smart for our own good. And now we just keep coming up with new and wonderful ways, not only to screw it up, profit from it, but agonize over, over whether we're doing it right and destroying ourselves in the process. I'm tired of playing. I'm just tired. I'm getting too old for this. Tired of playing in that game. It's no wonder to me why people my age here sometimes, they retire, but not only do they retire, they just drop out. They turn off the TV. They turn off the noise. They stop following politics. They remove themselves from the discourse and the argument and just yell at children, "Get off my lawn." Sometimes I wonder whether that might be better for me. At any rate, I wax a little bit. This morning, it's been a strange weekend. I've had a lot on my mind. I watched quite a few YouTube videos because what else do I have to do? Every one of those things gets me thinking. But let's get back to it and try to be a little more entertaining this morning. Don't want to bring anybody down on a Monday morning. I'm actually doing pretty good. I feel good. Yes, the blueberries have survived. Hang on. There it is. Thank you. It's been about 48 hours now they've been in there. So where's the cream? It's a miracle. It is an absolute miracle. And I've been reflecting on the wisdom of even starting this experiment. 3 times since I started this experiment, those blueberries were shaking in their boots and fearing for their very lives. 3 times in 2 days. I have almost done the dirty deed. The thing that surprises me the most is that I'm beginning to be convinced, more firmly convinced. Well, let me even go further than that. Certain. Absolutely certain that if there's anything that I've ever been right about, anything in my life that I would bet my life on, bet the farm on, it's the fact that I keep saying, well, there's 2 things to it. Number 1, addiction is the biggest problem facing the human race. Period. Bar none. End of discussion. Addiction is the cause of virtually all of our health problems in one way or another. Now, I'm not talking about infectious diseases. I'm talking about metabolic health problems in people that aren't broken. Let me qualify it. Because we can become broken, and that's a health problem not caused by addiction. But let's put it this way. All the chronic diseases, all the overweight, all these things are beginning to point more and more towards metabolic disease, and the cause of metabolic disease is eating the wrong foods. And eating the wrong foods is caused by, at the bottom of the pyramid, root cause, being addicted, having no self-control, not being able to be in charge like you arrogantly think you are, or I think, or we think. I have proven to myself in the past 2 days by analyzing the absolutely inane and lame thinking going through my head, rationalizations, almost going to eat the blueberries, almost willing to quit YouTube just because that's how much I wanted those blueberries. And that was like a cold slap in the face to me. Yesterday, I'm sitting there thinking, I mean, and this is not my conscious, rational, in control mind that knows all this stuff. This is the beast in my mind, in my brain, the inner beast, the inner animal, my reptile brain, my animal brain, the same brain that forces every animal on the planet. The animals that Kiltz uses as an example. Animals don't cook their food. Animals don't do this. Animals don't do that. No shit. We are animals. I know there's a lot of human beings that think we're not because of their religious teachings. That's fine. That doesn't make it true. We are animals. We came from the animals. We are programmed like the animals, and we are trying to live as if that programming doesn't exist. And I found, and that has never hit home to me so hard as it has over the weekend. 3 times I found myself hidden. I opened the freezer, put my hand on a bag of blueberries. I was ready to do it and had already rationalized it. And that was the purpose of this experiment. I already knew before going in that I wasn't trying to find out if I was an addict. I know I'm an addict. My whole entire life, I have tried to figure out a way to live with my addiction and feed it even a little bit without going berserk. I have always failed. I have always held out hope that I'm going to find a way where I can have, like everybody else, I would say, maybe a little bit of sugar and ice cream. I can eat in moderation, like they tell me I'm supposed to do. I found out I never could. That's when I started comparing my addiction to alcoholics' addictions or drug addicts' addictions. And then I started, years and years and years ago, this is not new for me, studying the science of treating addictions and addiction management. I did deep dives into the programs, addiction management programs, like Alcoholics Anonymous, and the programs to treat drug addiction, and what they did in treatment centers, what they did in rehab centers, the psychology involved in it, the drugs used for treatment involved in it, the fact that substituting one addiction for another helps. And I pretty much covered all that, so I've already considered those things. And it still boils down to the simple fact that I cannot eat a little cup of blueberries and stay sane. The blueberries are going to be gone, and I will be rationalizing it all the way. And that's how I learned how it works. So I know how it works. I already knew that this experiment of mine was going to be torture for me. I already knew that. Already knew that. I did it to try to discover if there was anything that I might learn about the process. About the process. To help people that don't know what I know about addiction. People that are addicts and still refuse to believe it. How many of you know alcoholics like that? People that are alcoholics but will not admit, I got it under control, I can stop anytime I want to. I'm not an alcoholic, I know my limits, I only drink 6 quarts a day. Doesn't hurt me, I'm perfectly healthy. I'm not like everybody else. They're all addicts, I'm not. Well, why don't you quit drinking? I don't want to quit drinking. That, my friends, is called denial. Lack of the ability to be honest with yourself. Another problem most people have. Most people think way too much of themselves. Can't admit they're false. If you can't admit you're false to yourself, if you can't recognize that you have a problem, there's no helping you. Have fun. Fun. Do whatever you want. I got no skin in your game. I don't care what you do. Peter, I don't want to embarrass Peter. I've seen him say, I can't moderate chocolate. Yeah, I don't want to embarrass Peter as an example. Peter's honest enough to have recognized this. And because Peter recognizes this, he can control it and stick pretty much to carnivore. And is that all that's necessary? Absolutely. I think that just being pure carnivore is draconian. I don't think that any of us need to be pure carnivore, strict carnivore, if carnivore is designed as the lion diet. Beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. That's draconian. I don't need to confine myself to that strict of a diet. I don't have to agonize over the fact that maybe I could eat a little dairy now and then. My prime test as to whether something is I can include it in my lifestyle is it addictive to me? Do I have the ability to control it? Can I stop if I start? Can I stop the progression about needing more and more of it each day? I've tried to find those foods that don't trigger that addictive response and see if there isn't any other reason why I couldn't eat it. No amount of broccoli or Brussels sprouts is going to kill anybody. The people in the Mediterranean diet do just fine. I can't. Most of us can't because we have all been addicted so strongly to the processed carbs, the refined carbs, that it's too late for us. If we learn anything, we need to learn how to start feeding our children. But for us, people that are getting older, most of the misfits, most of you people here, stop being so hard on yourselves. Stop trying to conform to what somebody else tells you is carnivore, and shame on you. People are so anal in most things. And so quick to find fault. And so quick to be superior to. Well, I don't do that. Condescending, obnoxious people that are so proud of themselves because they're better than you. The kind of people that are covered with ribbons. I care more than you. I used to love that bit from Rush Limbaugh with the ribbons. You need to find out what works for you, and the hell with whatever works for anybody else. That's not important to you and your health. You're under no pressure, no obligation. Anybody in here, anybody in my community can eat anything that they want. And I'll still say, if you have a problem, let us figure out why. I'll probably, more than likely, deduce that it is the fact that you're a stone cold addict. And for a stone cold addict to anything, I'm afraid abstinence is the answer. If you want to not be tortured by that addiction, you can live your entire life if you want, constantly being tortured by cravings. I don't care. That's up to you. If you don't want to accept the fact that you're an addict, don't. But the reason I had such, that's just where I stand. I'm not a Nazi on any of this stuff. It's not my place to tell you what to do. It's my place to tell you how I do it and what worked for me and why. And that's what I'm trying to do. And I'm doing this experiment. And what I learned over the past 2 days is that I am absolutely correct in no uncertain terms. I am maybe as much a carbohydrate addict as anybody. I cannot eat one cookie. I cannot go into a restaurant. When they bring a bowl of bread out, if they don't bring my food right away, they'll have to bring me another bowl of bread. I will consume bread until I can't move. If they're a little slow, bring it. Do I do it consciously? Am I that hungry? Hell no. I'm addicted to carbohydrates. And that addiction owns me and takes my conscious thought and reasoning away, exactly like it does in every species of every animal alive on this planet, and compels me to put whatever it wants in my mouth. And for obeying, it squirts a little dopamine out there and gives me a feeling of pleasure and comfort. That's the simplicity of the way it works. Here's your little treat, doggy. Works every time. We're too arrogant. So what I learned in 2 days was that the decision, this is the amazing part, the decision of whether to eat the blueberries or not, and the strength to not eat them, came from the fact that my desire to continue, this may sound wacko, but this is what really happened. And these were really the thoughts that my subconscious was feeding me. And my strategy here is to see if accountability and things way larger and more important to me in my life might enter into the negotiations instead of just, do I really, I really want the blueberries. And it worked. Whether it'll continue to work, We'll see. Right now, I don't want the blueberries. I don't have any. I don't hear them calling to me. For years, they didn't call to me because I didn't have them around me. I wasn't reminded of them. But having them in the house is tempting. And that's what temptation is. That's the absolute base meaning of temptation, of the word temptation. It's the stuff all the biblical stories were written about. The apple and Adam and Eve. Garden of Eden. Those are metaphors. Those are simply metaphors for what the people at the time observed as animal behavior. In the beginning of organized religion, trying to fix human beings so they don't act based on their animal behavior. How's it worked out for you guys? Not real well. Everybody's, I guess, talking about, I haven't interacted with you yet. Good morning to everybody. But this has been such a fascinating introspection for me over the past 2 days. I've already, I wonder if I even should keep it up. I absolutely learned everything I had hoped to learn from this experiment. Absolutely everything. Believe it or not. So much thought. So much being honest with myself about the reality of my thinking at any given time. Analyzing what is causing these thoughts. Are they from a blueberry-hungry subconscious that doesn't give a shit? It just needs blueberries. That is the imperative, life and death thing that needs to be addressed right here and now. Get those blueberries in me. Or can I bring some reality back into that silly rationalization? And the fact that I made this is the point. The fact that I made a commitment to my viewers to try a challenge. I challenged myself. The fact that nobody wants to fail in public. The fact that the only thing my subconscious mind could come up with as the last ditch, this is the key right here. It sounds silly, but this is what I learned. My subconscious mind's last ditch effort to get me to eat those blueberries. Last ditch, before it said, F you, I give up. No blueberries for me. But I'll be back in a couple of hours, and we'll start this again. The one thing was, it was reduced down. Listen to this. I don't think I can even begin to convince you how meaningful this was. The decision was reduced to a choice. Isn't it always? Peter, when you had your mother's birthday party and you had the uncontrollable urge to have just a piece of birthday cake, you were negotiating with that part of your brain that decided it needed to have that birthday cake, and it was throwing excuses at you. The most common excuse we get is, well, I'll just do it this once and I won't do it again. Now, for a non-addict, that works. If you're not really addicted hard to it, you can have the piece of cake, you go home, and you don't stop at the bakery on the way home. For those of us that are really addicts, we never make it home without picking up another cake to take home with us. And in most cases, that leads to a binge, and we have to go back to square one. Story of most of our lives because of the addiction. Well, I found myself at a point in the negotiations, sitting across the table from my subconscious mind, what was left of my conscious mind, and the ability to think rationally, which I would be able to do again immediately after I ate enough blueberries to make myself sick. I'd get my mind back, and then what's going to happen? I'm going to feel ashamed of myself, regret, and ask myself, what the hell was I thinking? Well, now I'm trying to learn a way to analyze what I'm thinking while I'm thinking it, and that's the point of this whole experiment, is to interrupt those negotiations before I blindly just say, okay, I'll just eat this will be the last time, I promise. At that point in the negotiations, it became a choice between, believe it or not, quitting YouTube, telling all you people it's been great fun, best of luck, shutting down my channel, and eating the blueberries. That was the choice. That was the choice I had to make. And I made that choice twice already this weekend. I made that choice. Why would I shut down my YouTube channel, you say? At the time, the rationale was, well, you failed. You failed these people. It would be embarrassing for you, Mitch, to go in front of everybody and say, well, I lasted a day. Can't have that. You're getting tired of this. And then I started to find reasons why I hate YouTube and don't want to do it anymore. My subconscious mind is very smart and able to provide all of that. And thoughts in my head started filling my head. How much I hate YouTube. I hate the people that run YouTube. I hate the people that come watch me and comment and find fault with me and tell me what I'm doing wrong. I hate the people. And I was building quite a case in my mind. Quite a case. About, yeah, I've had enough of this shit. Because in reality, my addiction wanted some friggin' blueberries. And it was the last remnants of reality. The fact that I enjoy doing this YouTube so much. I love you guys. I love this community. That I still had enough conscious control to tell the addiction, not now. And decide I'm not willing to do all that stuff that I have to rationalize in my own mind. Now, this may sound insane to so many of you. Maybe that is the definition of insanity. Maybe insanity and doing insane things shows you exactly how far your real brain will go if it thinks it wants something. And this has taught me in this experiment much sooner than I ever thought that I would learn. It taught me that the only way I will ever be able to win when I end up in a negotiation with my subconscious is to change the conversation and have a reason. And that reason that I had this time was the fact that I was accountable to somebody, which is pretty well accepted as the best type of motivation of having support, of making a promise to people, of knowing you're going to be embarrassed if you fail, you're going to look weak. Some other factor that gives you a reason not to, a real reason. And I finally hit that point, and I'll hit it again because I know that. And what have I proven to myself? At least for me. And I know I'm not the world's worst carb addict because, and I know how to fix it. But that fix for me includes keep this crap out of my house, out of my reach, out of my sight. Out of my sight long enough for life without it once again to teach my subconscious that it indeed is not going to die if it doesn't get some sugar. It's as simple as that. Once your subconscious learns you don't need sugar to stay alive, like anything else that we learn after a couple weeks, it kind of settles down and accepts the idea. It only wants sugar because it thinks if you don't eat sugar before the day is out, you're going to be dead. Because that's the way it was 20, 30,000 years ago when sugar was a survival food. It all makes sense to me. And I'm trying to prove it out. I've proven to myself in the past, over the weekend, I've proven to myself that yes, Martha, carb addiction is a real thing. No, Martha, no matter how strong you are, if you think you can control it because you've got such a strong mind, you are deluding yourself and everybody else. Most likely, if you think that, it's because you're not a carb addict of that magnitude. And shut the hell up. Exactly what every alcoholic says to every non-alcoholic that gives him advice. I don't know why you can't stop drinking. I don't have a problem. Well, F you. Every one of us knows that that doesn't work. So, if you think that anybody can think away their addiction with willpower and conviction, you're not an addict. No addict would ever think that. Peter, do you think that? Do you think any way you can turn down this stuff like it keeps happening to you, a carnivore of your experience and success? You can't. But we still live in this world and we still have to do this and we still have to. So, what do I do? That was the question I finally came up with. What do I do on here? I come on here and I have to try to help everybody understand why so-and-so is saying it's okay to eat so-and-so, and like why Lisa Wiedemann started this stuff, why Zane Griggs started this, you need to add carbs, why Robert Sivas is constantly telling you your blood tests, you need 1,000 blood tests. How the hell did we ever get here without blood tests? I think they've all done us more harm than good. They got us worrying about things we really don't have to worry. We don't know enough about it anyway. I wonder if I even have a place here. If I'm I'm trying to inject reality. Half the time when I talk about reality, everybody in the chat is just awful. You know, I feel like sometimes I feel like a college professor in a classroom of people that don't give a shit about what I say. And I in the classroom, laughing, passing notes, and throwing some spitballs, talking on social media on their cell phone, have no idea what's going on in class, but are just there so they can be with their friends. It's a great place to stay warm and have a meeting. And we'll just tune out that guy on the stage. What I should be, Booby says, Aaron says, I like you, Mitch, reality and all. Well, you can live in a fantasy world if you like. I don't even care. Go to Star Trek conventions. I don't care what you do. I don't care if you're convinced that the Marvel comic characters are actually real, that somewhere there's a Starship Enterprise is real and it's up there, or the Galaxy Quest was real and Tim Allen is really the savior of the universe. I don't care if you believe that. I don't care if you believe the earth is flat. People really do. People do. I don't care what religion you believe in. You can believe all that if you want. I use 6,000 different versions of it for you. You don't like Marvel comics? Go to DC Comics. None of that is reality. None of it. There are no UFOs, no little green men, no flat earth. It's all stories. Believe what you want. I believe none of it. None of it. Am I wrong? I could be. But I live in a real world where every action must have a cause, and that cause has to be understandable and provable and make sense when applied to all other causes. Maybe my audience or this whole YouTube thing or the world in general is just simply not ready for me, because I'm losing my patience with the world in general. When these idiot lunatics are out there marching, no kings, no kings, no kings, our world is falling apart, and they're dressing up like silly cartoon characters and parading around with signs. These are the same people that are watching me. I don't want them. I don't want them in my audience. I don't want them listening to me. I don't want to have a discussion or conversation with them. Maybe it is time for me to go. I don't know. I never have seemed to have too much trouble talking myself out of doing this. The effort is always talking myself back into it. I didn't mean to do a rant. This is not a rant. This is just me pulling my hair out at the stupidity of people in general, and how many of them are so misled, because the things that they believe in are virtually impossible to happen the way that they were taught they happened. Sorry. I don't make any bones about what I believe and don't believe. And not everybody agrees with me. In fact, everybody disagrees with me in most things. I want to come on here. Thank you. See, people say they don't want me leaving. I don't want to leave. I want to come on here and try to help. I found the answer, and I just reinforced it with my little blueberry test. God, what I learned about. I was like a fly on the wall in the negotiation room between my subconscious and my rational mind. And I was watching it happen and unfold in real time and being able to analyze it, because I knew what to look for. I knew how to frame the experiment. I knew to add only one different thing. because that's all you can add in an experiment. Previously, if I had a craving for blueberries and I decided to give in, I would just do it. And here's what would happen. I would order a bag of blueberries from Sam's Club and a half a gallon of whipping cream. I would go through that in about a day and a half. Then I'd reorder 2 half gallons of whipping cream and 6 pounds of blueberries from Sam's Club, because I just discovered that one is not enough. Fortunately, I do have kind of a fail-safe. I would start to feel like shit. I would start to see my belly getting bigger. My joints would start to hurt. And and the cold, hard truth of the fact that shit, that I'm addicted and I need to go cold turkey. So, whatever, this has happened 5 times since I've been a carnivore. I would take the bags of blueberries that were left and I'd throw them in the trash. I'd take the cream that was left, pour it down. I couldn't have it in the house. The act of the defiant act of getting rid of it, of throwing it in the garbage, just like I tell people, when you're going to start carnivore, throw all that crap in the garbage. Well, that's not good. That's not good. We should donate it to a food bank. It might feed a hungry kid. My answer to that is, the hungry kid would be better off not eating the crap that you don't think is suitable for you anymore. That's the reality. I have to get it out of my sight. I'd get it out of my sight. Back to meat only. No carbs. No carbs. And I know there's so many of you that have to, well, eggs have carbs. Every egg has 0.7 grams of carbs. Shut the hell up. No kidding. That's not the kind of carbs I'm talking about. And I've heard it 100 times. I heard it yesterday again. I hear it all the time. I just remove those comments and remove the users now. I can't explain it anymore. I just need to get rid of people. That think that they know more than I do. They may very well, but I don't need to get into a debate with them anymore. I'm tired. I'm tired. Life has made me tired of this. But I still want to help, and I still don't want to go anywhere. So I keep trying to figure out, how do I keep doing this? Making it less aggravating. And I haven't come up with a real way yet, so I still have to make the decision, but I was proud of myself yesterday because the decision to stick around and not give up what I've worked 3 years to build here is more important to me than blueberries. That sounds kind of trivial, but the fact that was more important to me at the time than blueberries, and I beat my subconscious mind trying to trick me into getting what it wants, showed me, my friends, just how important you all are to me. And it proved to me the importance of being able to bring another consideration to the negotiating table when your addictions take over. And commitment, accountability, and support are that thing that will not leave your conscious mind when your subconscious takes over. That's what I proved to myself. If it had not been for my little experiment and not been for the fact that I had come on here and made a potential ass out of myself with future embarrassment of saying I caved, If not for that, if not for the fact that I knew you were watching it, there'd be no blueberries in my freezer anymore, but probably an order from Sam's Club on its way over here this morning with not one but 2 bags of blueberries. Now, how can that possibly be true? How can it be, and this is the big question, that you went 2 years without a thought of blueberries? How can it be? And that's the power of carnivore. And that's the power of 0 carbs. And the caveat is, if you're an addict like me. If you're not an addict, I got nothing for you. I got nothing for you. Go watch Paul Saladino. Go watch Ken Berry. Watch the keto channels where they tell you how to, make that pizza and cookies that will do less harm to you. Because the only danger of that stuff is the slippery slope that you find yourself on, where it just completely trashes any of the positive aspects of your diet. And that's what happens to an addict. If you're not an addict, go ahead. If you're not an alcoholic, go have a drink. Go out to the bar. Go to your friends' parties if you're not an alcoholic. If it isn't ruining your life, if you can't not go 5 minutes without a drink, you're not an alcoholic. If every time you get stressed, you don't go diving for the bottle, you're not an alcoholic. Lucky you. You're no better than us. You're not superior because you think you can control yourself and we can't. It's physiological. You're just not addicted. How do I know that? Because I don't want your alcohol. I could give a shit less about your alcohol. I'm not addicted to your alcohol. I can't understand why it is you can't take a drink. Because I don't drink. Do you want to hear that from me? Well, you don't understand why I can't eat a friggin' blueberry. I don't want to hear that you don't understand why I can't eat a blueberry. I can't eat. I don't want to hear it. And none of us addicts want to hear it. If you don't understand, shut the F up. And everybody's giving advice from a viewpoint of not having a problem. You can't advise on the problem until you have the problem. Figure the problem out. Figure out how to solve the problem. And then see if you can figure out a way to apply it to other people. Well, that's what I did. And I still don't know. I still doubt that those blueberries are going to survive for 30 days. My inclination now is, okay, I learned what I need to know. I changed one variable. Can I succeed with a little help from my friends and a little accountability? Or is it going to be the same and the addiction wins? Well, at least for 2 days, I won. Now, I know that I'll never be able to live a life without my addiction in the freezer haunting me, because it's constantly on my mind, and it's been on my mind since I started 2 days ago. I either need to eat the friggin' blueberries or throw them away. If I eat the blueberries now, I will be buying more blueberries tomorrow until I get myself sick, go back a few steps, get to that point where I put my foot down. I have that much strength. I've learned that. And then go back to carnivore. And carnivore is the answer, because carnivore changes my physiology. It makes my brain know that I've got every nutrient I need and that I really don't need the sugar. And in a week or two, it'll be convinced again that it's unnecessary for me to be thinking about sugar all the time, and the cravings will again go away and stay away until they're triggered again by the knowledge and the sight of the fact that the sugar is right there at arm's reach. And it's as simple as that. Keep the shit out of your house if you can't control yourself. Keep it out of your house. If you're an alcoholic, man, stay out of the liquor stores. Don't stock your kitchen cabinets full of alcohol. That should be blatantly obvious. Out of sight, out of mind. True. But why do we do that with food? Why do we put up with people that live with us when we can't live with them as long as they're eating junk food? Why can't they care enough about us to have a little consideration? Because they don't understand addiction. They're not addicts. And if they are, they're too young. They don't have the problems yet and haven't figured it out. I didn't intend to do an entire speech today like this. But like I said, I'm in a rare mood maybe not rare. I'm in a strange mood this morning because it's been a very, very, very eye-opening couple of days for me. This little experiment has totally convinced me that A, addiction is real. B, I am a raging carb addict. C, most people are raging carb addicts. C, you don't know it or won't admit it. And C, the only advice that anybody should take who's a raging carb addict is from a carb addict who has figured out how to overcome it. And that's the most important thing. And that, my friends, is that makes me the most valuable teacher in the world. A teacher who should receive huge salary for the benefit of what I've learned and what I know. Better than any doctor that can tell you how to stop eating the crap you're addicted to. Better than any psychiatrist, psychologist, or Weight Watchers program, or Alcoholics Anonymous, or anybody whose failure rate is 90 to 100%. Mitch, me. And I'm willing to share all this with you, my friends, today for a low, low price of a measly cup of coffee once in a while. What a deal. And no, I haven't lost my sense of humor in all this either. Okay. I'm done. Let that sink in. I doubt. I see people are still hanging in there with me. I haven't read the chat. I was afraid to. But that's the reality. I'll let you know what I did with the blueberries. And that's going to be a battle too, because now I've let myself off the hook. I'm no longer obligated to you guys to say, I won't eat them for 30 days. Hell with that. This thing ends one way or the other. It ends today. What I went through the past 2 days, believe me, I am not going to subject myself to another 28 days of it. Sorry if I promised it. It was a good idea at the time. But like so many other ideas, sometimes we find ourselves saying, well, you know, it just seemed like a good idea at the time. Well, it was a great idea. It just didn't take so long for me to find to get the results back. So I may cut out a bunch of this stuff and make a shorter video about it and title it the results of the great 30-day blueberry experiment, because what I learned is very, very important. But I also learned more about myself and more about what I think I need to be doing here on YouTube, and what conversations I need to stay out of, and which conversations I think I could be helpful in. And the conversations and the focus of this channel from here on out is going to be addiction. For those people who finally, after a lifetime of being a victim of it, recognize it for what it is, recognize the fact that that's them. I've been talking about addiction since my first video. I even have it in my old video, how to tell you're a carb addict. I have a test. It's always been my thought that it is the problem. It just gets more and more obvious to me. And yet, I'm not mentioning names anymore. But I just cannot say participate when, how do I put this delicately, when the message is addiction isn't a real thing. The mind is the master. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That one bit of advice to me says I'm wrong, and I don't think I'm wrong. So it is what it is, my friends. I can't abandon something that took me a lifetime to learn. Is the only way I can help anybody. And just say, I'm sorry, I just can't do it. I can't do it anymore, and I won't. So it is what it is. But my thrust of my channel, the thrust of my message, is going to be not pure carnivore. It's pure carnivore if there's no other way for you to control your addiction. I hope you all accept that. I hope you all do. There's certain sadness to that too, for me. I think I'll just end it there today, my friends. I think that's enough. I think that's enough. I hope that something I said rang true. A touch of realism in it. And I'll digest this a little more today, and tomorrow I'll come back and we'll try to do a more traditional morning coffee with Mitch. I haven't even drunk half my coffee yet today. Well, let me take a minute. It's still early. Question Mitch. Everyone is saying that you've proved, but doesn't say what. What proved what, Peter? Everyone have a great day. Rick, quack the berries. Put the blueberries for the possums. Blueberries. T-Bang Golf, what are you talking about, Mitch? I wasn't listening. Yeah, lighten up. It's not. I try to lighten up all the time, but this is at the heart and root of the problem that we're all trying to solve, in my opinion. And if people that are here don't think it is that important, your answers aren't here. Toss the blueberries and cream away today, says Peter. Yeah, I'm inclined to do that. I'm inclined to do that. In fact, I may make that a video today instead of, and just make a ceremonial thing about it. Because right now I don't want to eat them. That's the only time I can toss things, is if I'm in a state where I'm not under the control of the addiction. That's why it usually takes for me to be sick from it, of eating too much of it. It's like an alcoholic who pours, after 3 full quarts of straight whiskey, pours the last quarter of a bottle down the drain. And if he is aware of what's going on, he remembers that the last time he did this, within 20 minutes, he wishes he hadn't. And that's what happens to me with the food. If I put the ice cream left over back in the freezer, I'm back again at it. That's why you do it in self-defense, because you feel so ashamed of yourself. You're thinking rationally. You're saying, why the hell did I do that? What was I thinking? I feel shit. I just sabotaged 2 months worth of hard dieting, hard work. I didn't want the shit in the first place. And usually for me, the reason the shit ends up in my house is because I'm so addicted that I still haven't given up on trying to find a way that I can have just a little bit of it. Because everybody says moderation. Well, moderation is not an understandable term to an addict. Moderation is impossible. It's the worst advice anybody can ever give any other human being. It implies that we actually have the power to say, okay, I had enough. I'll just eat these one cookie and put the rest away. We know better. Why do we keep denying the reality of addiction when life cannot go on without addiction? We have to be addicted to the things we can't live without. We have to be addicted to breathing. And you don't think you're addicted to breathing? Put a plastic bag over your head. Let me tell you something. Within about 30 seconds, you'll understand just how addicted to breathing you are. Ask anybody, well, they're not around anymore. So anybody who's accidentally drowned, how addicted to breathing they were. We take breathing for granted, but we are addicted to it because we can't live without it. Same thing with water. We're all addicted to water. We don't consider it an addiction because we're never without it long enough to have the kind of cravings that the subconscious mind's imperative would throw at you. But go wander and get lost in the desert for a few weeks. And come back and tell me that you're not a water addict. You ever heard that before? No. Nobody ever told you that. Nobody ever even thought along those lines that I've heard. This is what I think. Things that are obvious. I'm just trying to help here, guys. Trying to help. Have a little fun and take up some time that I have that I would like to make productive. So I don't have too much time on my hands, because that's not good either. I'll let you know what happens with the blueberries. But I know one thing for sure. It's going to end today. I do not want, I already know the answer. I already know exactly what would happen if I ate them. I know exactly how long it would take me to get back. I've been over that in the past couple months, in the past year, had to do that 2 or 3 times. The one time that they addicted me to sugar again in the hospital, took me a month or 2 to get over that. Then I started with the ice cream, which kills, bought me the ice cream maker. I was obligated. And Nelson, 2 great guys who I, no matter if we have any differences of opinion, still admire and love and think are the finest human beings I ever met. I hope they don't get the wrong impression from me. But my message is aimed at a different group of people than their message. That's all. I know that a lot of us are the same, but and you don't have to choose sides. I love the man. I love both of them. Always will. I just don't think they're as much of an addict as I am. And I have to say to myself, unless you're an addict like I am, you just can't understand. It's not in your wheelhouse. Just like you can't get your loved ones to understand why they're killing you by eating shit in front of your face. All the logic, all the talking, all the salesmanship will not get them to understand. Walk a mile in my shoes is what you should be saying. And if you can't, honor this as a wish, then honor it as a command. Or go live somewhere else. Don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out. And that's tough love. And that's sometimes what you have to do to convince people to be considerate. Because they don't understand your problem. There's nothing unrealistic about any of that I just said. I try to... Common sense. That's why I can't hardly exist in this world anymore. Nothing any of these lunatics out there are doing makes any sense whatsoever. In any context. I'm at the point where I don't know what to do when I get up in the morning. If I didn't have YouTube or you guys to come and talk to, I'd be watching the news. I'm by myself. I don't work. I mean, I don't have a job to go to. I work an hour a day, 2 hours a day to make a living. That's how I make a living, not this. I don't know what I'd do. I'd go nuts. I'd be bored out of my mind. That's no way to live. Got to be occupied. Maybe when my dexterity comes back a little more, I get back into my hobby, start building model airplanes and drones again. But right now, I can't work with the tools. So I had a lot of my life taken away from me by this stroke, and I'm determined to get it back. I played the piano yesterday, and I'm going to make another video. My improvement was dramatic since the last video. It just takes time. Just takes time. But the world has gone crazy. I don't even want to live in this world anymore. I truly understand why people, after enough of this, just drop out. Once you understand the reality of what's going on and the amount of absolute corruption, fraud, and everything else, and deluded people, running around marching in No Kings rallies. No Kings. Wonder who thought that up. Was that you, Barack Obama? Did you think up that whole No Kings rally bullshit? The man just stopped a war in the friggin' Middle East, for God's sakes. Can somebody even give him a little credit? No. I don't know. You get me started on that, we'll be here all day. Oh, 8:17 now. All right. Here's how I'm going to end it. Little happy music. Whoever was here first at 7 a.m. this morning, congratulations. I can only assume it was either Lambs or Robbie Autry. Probably would not be wrong. Wait a minute. I did get back to the beginning chat. Let me see. Oh, no. I was wrong. The first one in this morning was Rick. Oh, my God. Rick. Congratulations. I'm glad I looked. And let's see who's still here. Peter. There are lots of other channels that focus on politics. Yeah, I don't need to talk about it. You all know how I feel. I feel logic and reality. Period. Logic and reality. And this is from a guy that served 4 years in the military for this country. It's the biggest thing in the world. But I am a patriot. It breaks my heart to see what's going on. See him giving it all away to people who didn't work for it. I worked for it. Jem says, Mitch, please watch Rick's avatar that Amy made. All right. Not to insult Rick or anything, but let's not not my top priority. I like Rick, and if I happen to see it somewhere, I will, but if somebody sends it to me, I'll certainly watch it. Amy sent me her avatar, and I did watch it, and it was pretty cool. Or Bacon Woman. 80 June. See you later. Swamp Cat was funny. Amy is a pro. Oh, that's great. That's great. That's great. Peter says that comment by Karen would have set me off. I don't want to know. I don't want to know what it was. Peter, thank you if you've intercepted it. If you hit her from me, I appreciate it. I need somebody running interference for me. At any rate, this is the strangest morning coffee with Mitch that I ever did. I still have some coffee left. It's been the strangest 2 days that I've had in years, this last 2 days with the blueberries and the experiment, and I learned a ton. And confirmed a ton of what I already knew, but it just proves so much to me. Sometimes an N of 1, at least in me, someone with the ability to be honest with myself about what I'm really thinking, and be honest with you about it. Can you imagine? Remember I said to you, my eating of the blueberries came down to a decision about whether I wanted to give up my YouTube channel, what was more important to me and my friends, or the blueberries. That's how corrupted and convoluted our rationalizations can become in our minds, bordering on what we call insanity, just to feed the addiction. They're the masters, my friend. Maybe when we ought to look at the expression, the mind is the master, which mind are we talking about? The conscious mind or our animal brain? I think that statement takes on a whole new level of truth if we consider our animal brain when we think of the term mind. So yes, I wrote a book about it. It's called Taming the Beast Within. 24 years ago I wrote that book. My thinking hasn't changed since my theory in that book was we exist and live at the whim of that animal brain within us that controls everything. And I've never changed my feelings. They only get stronger, and I get more and more evidence every day that that's what it is. So yes, my friends, the mind is the master. Problem is, you haven't learned how to tame it yet. Take the rest of the day off. Well, maybe you have. Take the rest of the day off. See you tomorrow morning. We'll try to keep it lighter tomorrow morning. And I'll let you know the eventual fate of the blueberries and the having whip agreement for me right now. I'm actually going to go watch the replay of this thing and read the chat. I might not be a happy camper afterwards, and but I'll try not to take too much of it to heart. And while you're taking the rest of the day off, eat meat.